This has more to do with roster construction because, at the end of the day, I don't care how much Gino gets paid. I hope for his sake he gets paid a lot, generational money. He deserves it. That's great. But my interest is in the Seahawks building a roster that can win a Super Bowl. So how do you work that cap number so that you can sign him to a deal that he's okay with and still upgrade a roster, especially defensively, that last year was not good enough to be a Super Bowl contender?
You're hitting a sore spot for me, Mike. I'll tell you what. I did Philly radio, same question about Hurts. I did Cincinnati radio, same question about Burrow. I did L.A. radio, same question about Herbert. Listen, let me try to be very clear on this. It's a cop-out. It's a tired excuse for teams, for fans, for media to say, you can't build a Super Bowl roster if you have a high-level quarterback. That, to me, is such BS. Such BS. Think about football these days. You got 50 to 70% of your roster is on rookie contracts, first 4 years, right? So give them a conservative $1 million cap figure for each of those guys. So now you've got over half your roster counting about $30 million cap. So now you've got $190 million to deal with the rest of your roster. And again, I can't say this strongly enough. It's not paying your quarterback $40 million that gets you in cap trouble. That is not what gets any of these teams in cap trouble. What gets teams in cap trouble is bad deals that go south, paying the wrong guys, having so much dead money in your cap for deals that didn't work out. And, this is not the issue. It's never the issue whether you can pay a quarterback and build a good roster around it. Mahomes has a high quarterback, a high number. He just led the team to the Super Bowl. They got a team around him. I mean, this is something I don't know where this narrative came out. Well, I managed the Green Bay Packers for 10 years. We had the highest paid quarterback in the league. Never a problem.
I don't mind that, though, Andrew. I think to me it's a slightly different conversation. I agree with you on that. I agree. If you've got any of those quarterbacks you just mentioned, if you've got Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, if you've got Patrick Mahomes, if you've got one of the 5 guys or so in this league that are elite, you should absolutely pay them and figure it out. And we saw the Chiefs do it by going young elsewhere and paying a lot of young players. The question is, if you don't have one of those elite guys, is it worth paying a significant amount of money, or are you better off going with a quarterback on a rookie deal or making less money, like a Drew Lock, for example, who's been here in the system for a year, and trying to spend that money elsewhere like the Eagles did on a lot of veteran players around him who can help carry a younger or not as high-profile quarterback to victory?
Yeah, I mean, again, it comes down to cash versus cap. If you're worried about cap and you have a significant veteran roster, you can make some push out. In other words, you can take some short-term gain and have some long-term pain. Obviously, teams like the Rams, the Saints, they've done this repeatedly, and the Rams, for one, are paying the piper now. But if you have a young team, you probably want to structure it a little differently, and you can load some cap. In other words, you don't have to do these signing bonuses that push out the pain. If you want to pay Geno Smith $25 million, you can, in first year, you can get him, a $20 million cap number. So you have flexibility later because you've got a young team and you can save the money for later. It all depends on this. But the Seahawks better than I do. I'm here from afar, but it seems like you've got a really young team and you don't have many elite contracts. So most teams have 6 or 7 elite contracts, and it's usually the quarterback, the left tackle, the pass rusher, the shutdown corner, maybe 1 or 2 others. And then they're filling in around it. And, I look at the Seahawks as a young team with all these rookie contracts. You could probably load a lot of cap into Geno Smith this year.